Hello everyone, welcome to Thursday's cryptocurrency review. Let's start by checking the current situation on the BTC pair to USDT, taking into account the one-day interval. First, we will use the blue lines to mark the uptrend channel in which the BTC price is moving at the lower limit. Now we can move on to marking the places of support in the event of a correction. And here in the first place we have support that currently holds the price at $26,692. Then it is worth marking a strong support zone from $25,298 to $23,979. However, when we fall below this zone, we can see a drop around $22,002. Looking the other way, in a similar way, using the fib retracement tool, we can determine the places of resistance. First, the price has to break through the strong resistance zone from $29,050 to $29,887. When it manages to break it, we have strong resistance at $31,053. When it manages to overcome it, the price will be able to move towards the resistance at $34,324. Next, it is worth looking at the EMA cross 10 and 30, which so far indicate a downtrend. Please pay attention to the CHOP index, which indicates that most of the energy has been used. The MACD indicator indicates the maintenance of the local downtrend, while the RSI, after rebounding, a small price increase will give a visible movement on the indicator, which may pull the price lower around the previously defined support zone. As the second chart in today's review, we will check ETH against USDT, also on a single-day timeframe. First, we will use the yellow line to mark the uptrend line above which the price is currently holding. Now let's move on to marking the places of support. We will use the fib retracement tool to mark support, and as you can see, it is worth marking the strong support zone from $1,757 to $1,666 in the first place, but when the price drops below the zone, we can see a drop around $1,533. Looking the other way, we can also mark the places where the price should encounter resistance on the way to increases. And here we have the first significant resistance zone from $1,989 to $2,054. Then a strong resistance at $2,142. Only after breaking above this resistance will the price move towards $2,391. The CHOP index indicates that most of the energy has been used. The MACD indicator is in a downtrend. On the other hand, on the RSI we are moving around the middle of the range, which may cause the price to break down towards the previously mentioned support zone. As the third one, we will check the BNB to USDT chart on a one-day timeframe. First, we will check the EMA cross 10 and 30, where we can see confirmation of the transition to an uptrend. Now, using the blue lines, we will mark the downtrend channel where the price has been moving for a long time. Moving on, we can move on to marking support areas when we start a larger correction. And here, the first support is at $307. The second very strong support is at $301. The third support is at $297. And then the fourth support is at $292. Looking the other way, we see that the price has reached an important resistance zone from $314 to $318, which so far has no strength to break. However, if it manages to break out of this zone upwards, the next resistance will appear at the price of $322, and then we can see a strong increase to around $335. At this point, it is also worth marking the local downtrend line from which the price went up. Please look at the CHOP index, which indicates that we have a lot of energy for further movement. The MACD confirms the local uptrend, while the RSI shows a visible increase. It is worth being careful here, because price corrections often occur at the upper end of the range. The last one in today's statement is the LTC chart in pair to USDT. As in previous reviews, we will also use a one-day interval here. First, we will use the blue lines to mark the triangle in which the price is currently moving. Now, using the trend-based fib extension tool, we will check the support areas in the event that the LTC price changes direction. And here in the first place we have a strong support zone from $83 to $78, which has managed to hold the price so far. However, when the price drops lower, we have another support at $71.80, and then a third support at $62.96. Looking the other way, we see that the price has reached an important resistance zone from $92.80 to $94.63, which so far has no strength to break. However, if we manage to break out above and leave the previously marked triangle up, we can see an increase to the resistance at the price of $105.88, and then to the price of $114.14. At this point, it is worth noting that the energy has been used on the CHOP index. The MACD confirms the current upward trend. But on the RSI, we are approaching the upper limit of the range at which the price changes direction very often, and in this situation, it can give the price a rebound. Technical analysis is provided by a third party and for informational purposes only. It does not reflect the views of CryptoDaily, nor is it intended to be used as legal, tax, investment, or financial advice.